Good day and good evening, and welcome back to Roulette Live with me, Chaiji, but you can just call me Kai. So, as usual, we're aiming for about 3 hours, about 15 or so duties. Let's see what we get. The reason why we're a little bit earlier is because, well, normally I have some mount farming planned on Fridays. I forgot about that when I made the schedule. And I'm not gonna assume that I'll be able to end the mentor roulette exactly at, like, 2:59:59 and then just be ready. So, out of respect for the team, we're starting a little bit earlier so that we get the same amount of mentor roulette as usual, while simultaneously I am not late for the mount farm. Fantastic. Now, that said, hey Aerodil, hey Taldemar, hey Agent Monica, hey Puvumet, hey Crab Galaxy, hey Redmaster, hey Lana, hey Tinley, hey Make Some Time, hey Dicky, hey Alice, hey Riftwalker, hey Ilya, hey Kaj, hey Allo Mercy, hey Might Strife, hey Jet, hey Tessie, and hey Volta. Hope you're all doing very well. And we, of course, also have the wheel once again. So let's see what we got. We have a Viper. Boop. And Make Some Time says I finished my mental roulette grind last week. Oh, nice. Hey, Ragnarokia and Loki and Jeff Matt. And did I say hey to Taldemar? Otherwise, you get an extra one. Hope you're doing well as well. We have Dark Knight. Funny thing, last week we also had Dark Knight, but not even once did we actually not be able to, get DPS. Jeff says, are these going in the next mental roulette video? No, these are recorded weeks in advance. You can actually tell this by if you compare to what you saw in the last mental roulette video. Recognize that I would not be doing like 70 mental roulettes over a week and then compare with the number that is here right now. Hey, Symmetricon, and Fila, and Cat. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, the thing is, I mean, it doesn't matter. It's not that crucial where they go, right? I record them in advance so that if I have time to edit one, I'll do that. Things like that. Hey, me. For the Emperor. In the name of the Emperor! Right. Viper then. I will queue when it says 10. Bachman. I wouldn't be surprised if Bachman appears again. Seven hours until 10. Well, we're looking at the Eosia time, as you can see there. And when I say the number, it's simply the first time the number that I said appears up there. Yes, this is the special command panel, or whatever it's called, the same thing as having another hotbar with a macro to make it appear and disappear. No, not quite the same. And hey, Faith, hope you're doing well, and thank you. I have a feeling this duty is not gonna pop. Nope. It's beginning to look a lot like this duty isn't going to happen. Maybe this one will. I smell extreme. I'm smelling extreme. No! Doo-doo. And Ilana's here. And Teldemar's here. Small Teldemar's here. Shordemar. Jeff says, since you are the AI expert, before 50 is it worth to do the AoE rotation on warriors? Single targets get Surging Tempest? Yes, it is. I have a video called something like Weird Leveling Rotations. And basically, warrior from level 40 to 49. Oh, you're also here. I can't tell if you don't say anything in the chat. But yeah, in level 40 to 49, using Mithril Tempest to set up your Surging Tempest is like a 0.1% DPS gain for your filler rotation and more for your burst. Also, Zero Sugar, hope you're doing well. And good lick!
Are you ready to get down? The Upstart's Cruiserweight campaign begins. Can you keep up with the rhythm? We're just getting started. Keep grooving, baby. Dancing Green is pulling out all the stops with these things.
Hey, Wolfkin!
On the dance floor, everyone's a star.
On the dance floor, no one can hear you scream. What?
Bask in the spotlight and burn, baby, burn! An invitation to dance. How will the challenger respond?
That's a really awkward time for the 2-minute burst for me.
Come on, show me your moves!
Hey, procrastinauts! Make Cuddy. Hope you're doing well. Does Sacred Soul affect stacking mechanics? Yes. Do you mean like a stack marker? Hey Beams, hope you're doing well as well, and thank you.
You're up, dancers! Let's turn up the heat. Try to keep up now. The fever's taken hold. Can the upstart keep up with Dancing Green? hits like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, damage reduction affects stacks unless unless there's like certain exceptions, and sometimes there is like a certain exception, but typically assume that it is a yes.
Let's finish with style.
Take some time with it. Wow, this song is so good. I'm sure no one would ever rank it as a mere B. You know, I just want to point out, just as a reminder for those that did or didn't watch the tier list collab thing yesterday, as we reiterated many times, we were comparing bangers. And you have to remember that sometimes you have to pull out a really big magnifying glass to go, well, relative to the other things that are here, this is a B. We basically used Dancing Green as the middle ground between, like, it was a lot easier to determine whether a song was, like, really great or not, because the question was, is it better than Ride the Rhythm? We're talking about just the music, Wolfkin. The VOD is on YouTube, if you want to see it. It features Meerbyte and Hector. You know, Hector. M2 was a B. You know, sadly, I believe... Didn't Honeybee land on a C? Ironically.
Bask in the spotlight and burn, baby, burn.
Oh. Wow.
It's all over.
Okay.
Until next time.
Cat says, can recommend tier list VOD was a good watch. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you. And yeah, also true, make some time. It's all personal taste at the end of the day. And I'm just saying, I like all of the Arcadian songs. So even M3, that was the lowest rated, I'm also like, that's still good. Hey Dan, hope you're doing well. Reaper. Viper Reaper. I will queue when it says 33. No, 31. Thank you, Erdl. But it was very funny. Very fun. But it's a good thing we managed to narrow down the music we were ranking, because the original concept for the music ranking was all raid music. Like all raid tiers music. And I believe that would have been 46 songs instead of 15. Wolfgang says, what to do when newbies want to learn a job? I send you a video about the job and they forget about the video. If they ask again, you can be like, didn't I send you a video on this? I kinda do that in the Discord server. If someone asks something that is like, if I get repeatedly get questions that I'm like, you would know the answer to all these things you're asking if you had watched my guide. I'll be like, you do know there's a guide on this, right? I have a video. But yeah, you know, they might still have questions. Oh boy. We're getting some interesting duties today. You missed the green room music? Well, the green room music is not from an encounter, Ragnarokia. What duty is this? This is the dark inside.
The end has come, and it will be beautiful. The marvels of circus were but playthings.
Oh, man. The saddest opener when you don't have a plentiful harvest yet. Have you ever gotten an extreme past Heavensward? I got Susano a long time ago. He's off. Hope you're doing well.
Malice, become flesh.
But I have kind of said this in the context of guidance on what to do as a mentor. Is that, like, you can prepare whatever you want, of course, but let's just say that the probability that you get like a random party landing you in Zodiac Extreme and you don't see half the party immediately leave is extremely low. Like, unbelievably low. So my advice on that is basically, you can prepare for it, but you don't have to. Like, you can do your best if you land there, but it's pretty reasonable to assume that this is not something you'll have to worry about.
Soon my hold over Zodiac shall be complete. Mine!
Oh, man! Hey, pixies! Quickly somebody queue for Abyssal Fracture. I think there was, like, when I started doing Men's Roulette Lives, we had, like, a group of, like, 7 who had, like, a whole list of, oh god, not that one, extremes queued up. And regardless of how much they tried, they just wouldn't put me in group with them. So you can try it. It seems like there is something that prevents it from being a problem. Any Dark Shadow?
All in existence, bent to my will. My life's work, my masterpiece.
I will say, Yellow Mercy, you may have heard me say this before. It's a common problem if you're if someone is making like a oh boy, we almost wiped there. A crucial mistake at a level where they shouldn't be making that mistake anymore. Is that what happens isn't that people go, well, no worries, man, we'll teach you anyway. What's more likely to happen is that the players that should be able to help you will look at you and go, for you to hit level 90 and not have understood this, there's no way that you're gonna listen to us now. You're a lost cause.
The great cataclysm, faithfully recreated.
And then say nothing. If I landed on Zodiac Extreme, for instance, I think I would be shocked if I would be too shocked to even consider remembering to give people that advice.
Will you live to see the end?
Jeff says, do you do the story content in the game? How would I reach max level without having done it, Jeff? If I want to read the story? If you check the live stream section on the channel, you'll find that on patch day, I stream doing the MSQ, and I make voices in every cutscene or every dialogue bit where there isn't like voice acting built in. And because I also have my Rewind Replay MSQ series from an alt, I have the entirety of the MSQ voice acted by either the game itself or me. Thank you for the bits. But I do all of it. That is also part of the funny in yesterday's stream, where we ran into the problem that it turns out that Hector doesn't. So we couldn't do anything anything very deep related to the story, because he would have difficulty following or adding anything to the conversation. Oh, that's annoying.
All in existence, bent to my will. Will you live to see the
Thank you,
end?
Aerodil. Doo-doo-doo. Very nice. Yeah, I don't know, Elemercy. Part of the reason why I don't really mention it when I land in an extreme duty is because my perspective on it is, you land in a difficult duty, yeah? The first thing you're told is someone who presumably is there to help, right? Telling you that you did it wrong. Are you now more or less confident in your ability to do this duty? Is your mind now in a position where you're wasting energy that you shouldn't be on thinking, oh man, I goofed it, did everything wrong? 30 seconds before you're pulling Ramu Extreme for the first time. From that angle, I generally don't mention it unless it comes up in some other way. Like, I focus on actually doing the duty. And then if it comes up as, like, maybe we need this, then we can then we can approach it. But other than that, no. There's also the part that, like, I have done the give people advice and then not be received or be ignored enough times that I'm just gonna talk with you guys about it live, and then we'll have fun. That's good enough. Jose Faust and Shailim and the Ashuki. Hope you all doing very well. The Reverse Smile. And hey, Agafrirud. Yeah, that's also a way to do it, Teldemar. You know how I deal with that is that I just tell you guys to do that. As I've said, it's very simple. If you know me, you know that you should be better prepared. And if someone knows you that knows me, then you have failed them if you haven't told them what I've told you to be prepared. So it's like a plague of preparation spreading across the land. I'm glad to hear that, Shalim. Congratulations, and I hope you continue to enjoy the story. I will queue when it says 24. Do 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 do. So I used to advertise in Academy when I landed extremes on my roulettes. Ha! Hey RC, what you're supposed to be prepared for is if you queue for an extreme duty, you should have made sure you actually understand how your job works. Watch your reader guide, at least up to the level you're playing at, and don't go blind into an extreme duty if you're queuing for it. You go into an extreme blind with a blind group, otherwise you're just lazy. Or you don't know that you're supposed to do your homework. But because you know me, you know. I think both of the tanks are new. Both of them had the cutscene. Oh boy. And here we go. Are you ready for the wipe? The Dark Knight knows. The Dark Knight knows. Maybe not a wipe. Not, at least not for not yet. Oh, whoops. Oh, doesn't matter. We have 2 scholars, so this could work. Big emphasis on could. Will it is a different story. The Dark Knight has at least observed that there's a problem. They don't trust the warrior. Oh boy. And this can work if the scholars are aware they need to save their ether flow to keep the Dark Knight like nice and safe. Then this could work. Uh-oh. I think this is the moment we wipe. Yeah, I don't think that was the correct tank to res. Nope. I can't do anything if the warrior just pulls again. And I think the only one that needs explanation is the warrior. Most of all. So... Anything specific that healers need to look out for on this duty? No, it's because the debuff you get from overcharging reduces healing from spells. So... Ilana's explaining to the warrior. And yeah, if the warrior knew what to do, that would have been it. Was the echo dance? But the good news there, Echo Dance, is I'm just saying if it doesn't say Extreme or Minstrel's Ballad on a duty, then you should, or Savage, of course, you should be safe to just go in and try. Earth's Fount is actually, I would say, if you land in that one unprepared, you'll probably survive. It'll probably work. But yeah, that too, I guess. Uh-oh. Whew, good the Mentor was paying attention. Exactly, Ragnarok, yeah. Earth's Fount is like a little bit above, above average in difficulty. But it's not that bad. It like for the most part, there isn't like something where you need to do it in a specific way. I have a lot of orbs. Grabbed a few. Ugh. Uh-oh. Oh, that should work, I guess. Just because I know the chat can't see this, just want you all to know Ilana is micromanaging the warrior in the chat. Like actually telling them when to taunt and things like that. Rolling Thunder. Oh right, the tank should do it. Very true. Nanzo says, why is it always removed? That is actually a great question. I don't know. Is the Ramu Extreme unlocked like just weirdly front and center compared to the average of what's happening? Uh-oh. I am pretty sure Rolling Thunder's coming up. And also we need a tank switch in a second. Yeah, here it comes. It's not on me. Hey! That was very nicely done, Ilana. Today, just notice, guy, we had French player that listened. Remember that. Hey, clone! Says, I'm guessing our moves where a lot get told to not queue extreme in Duty Finder. Maybe? Tessie says the unlock quest is in New Gridania. Oh, yeah, that would do it. Yeah. I believe most of the A Realm Reborn extremes are located in, like, the Waking Sands. Batman says, to the French not listen normally? No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that there is this weird stereotype that if there's a bad player in a duty, if they happen to have the French as their set language, that's why they're not listening. If they're just bad, whatever it is. So I make a point of going, look, here's one instance of you being wrong. Because people like to see these stereotypes and act like it's just true. And yeah, not only were they listening, they also tried their best to execute. They did need Ilana to tell them when to provoke and things like that, which a little strange, but I guess Ilana's explanation on grabbing orbs maybe missed including the fact that you also had to actually taunt. I don't know. I will queue when it says 24. They did select English for queues. Yeah, the thing is, did they? How does that work exactly? Couldn't you land in that duty because someone had both French and English toggled? That's interesting, Shalim. The knockback immunity strat for Titan. I mean, you can't knockback immune all of them, so that doesn't make any sense. Ooh. Level 70 Black Mage is a go. You know, Shalim, that is also the reason why I have a tendency to use less abbreviations and why many of my guides and videos have like a blurb explaining what an abbreviation is when I use it. Because you never know. You never know. And yeah, also true, Ilana, they understood the most important bit, so it kinda worked. Yeah, I also set us up to have a backup if they didn't get it. Because I explained very briefly how the scholars could have completely bypassed the warrior if they weren't going to play ball. Oh, they are walls. That never occurred to me. Weird. Guess that didn't... I was about to say, does that count? Oh, I can say, Breadbean, that just based on the amount of times I've done harder duties with Ilana, remember everybody, Ilana, French, very strong player, that we have seen enough runs where Ilana tried to explain, but was ignored. But that, like, that isn't exclusive to French players, right? Hey, Dunker! I was told in a comment that the Savage version does indeed have a strong emphasis on the lights and the ghosts and the, like, other zone and all that. That's true, Zord, and that's also how people become more aware of it, is because it makes it more difficult to ignore, but it's the same as I've said before with the that people have a tendency to latch on to the fact that they think that mentors are all bad. Because it's just, it's a regular player with a label on it that says mentor. That ghost over there feeling mightily ignored. It's just like, really? Grab me! Shalem, it's genuinely just, like, people do it with legendary titles too. It's just that it is a thing that not all players wear, which makes it very obvious and stand out in a crowd. It could be anything. It's like, people, if enough people that happen, like, if enough people wore this, wore the Sweet Dreamer title, then you might start to notice a pattern that, oh, well, I sometimes notice bad players that use that title, and if you see it enough times, they start to choose that there's a stereotype there, even though it's just, yeah, technically, of every title-wearing player, some of them will be bad. Also, ja, mischt. Hey, Peranti, was that you? Yeah, exactly, Agafrin. That's also true. That's also something we talk about every now and then, that some players, for some reason, believe that the requirement to be good at teaching something or be allowed to teach something is that you have to be an absolutely exceptional player. And it's like, yeah, but if you're that good, you probably are spending all of your time on improving. And then you're not going to be spending time on that. Pixie says mentor bad was a joke that went too far. Yeah, as I've said on a previous stream, the problem with perpetuating a meme like that is that you might be joking, but given enough time, the group will start to include people that think that you're serious. If you act like an idiot, you will eventually find yourself in a crowd of idiots that think that they're with equals. And that is why I don't say, it's just a joke, guys, when people do the mentor bad meme or the French bad meme or the, I don't know, white mage bad meme. I don't care. In all cases, I'll be like, no, actually, let's stick to reality here, because ICBA dealing with that. A paid legend meme. I have a whole video explaining how it is perfectly possible that you could be a multi-legend and then also die in a leveling roulette. I will queue when it says 30. Also true, Red Master, and also the quality of mentors can vary immensely. So you can never be sure what you get. Mario Song says, obviously having a legend title means you perfectly remember all mechanics of every duty in the game. I'll say Grass Toucher. I mean, I saw a person with clears of at least 2 ultimates have 8 Volnobs in Dancing Green. Yeah, because the 2 ultimate titles mean that they're really good at, or they're capable of doing those 2 duties. Possibly. That is the same Dark Knight as before. But he knew what to do without being explained, so he might actually have done his homework. Wait, is everyone in the DPS side of the party community? Or just mostly? I'm just gonna move that. Let's not forget the last time I was Pictomancer on Titan Extreme, where Nox said, "I'll pay you like I can't remember, like $2 if you slide off the arena right now," and then I accidentally did it. Look, guys, I'm tank now. You can live one. Uh-oh. Yeah, that was not the time. This is really bad now. The current tank does not have... Oh, we don't have a current tank anymore. Good thing that Titan didn't have like 5% more health. Flawless victory. Say, was Grass Toucher in that party the same Grass Toucher as was in the Twitch chat just now? Hey Crusher, hope you're doing well. It was you, fantastic. Titan got communityed. Hey Zam. And that's awesome, Sword. That is ultimately the best end result, right? Community clears extremes for Sprouts mental Roulette video. I mean, it's very common that Ilana and I land together. Does anybody know what the first instance of an end of fight enrage that's not normal ultimate weapon? When you say that, Dunker, do you mean the first duty with a hard enrage, or do you mean the first like MSQ duty with a hard enrage? Or do you mean the first not savage or extreme duty with a hard enrage? Like, what do you mean exactly? And hey, Kubamana, hope you're doing well. Now, while you sim on that question, I'll be right back. In the meantime, manatee restored. Alright. First in general. Maybe Odin, yeah. Sky's Ghosts in Praetorium Hardened Rage. No, that's a DPS check. I feel like those are different things. You could also argue that Zanzetsuken is a DPS check and not a Hardened Rage. I'm not entirely sure. It depends on how you look at it. Gaius is charging up an ultimate attack. Dragoon. I will queue when it says... I will queue when it says 19. James says, I actually failed the DPS check in the Cape Westwind solo duty the first time. Oof. Oof. And Taldemar's here. the first four-man duty of the evening. It might matter that we started before the daily reset. Ah. What an awkward position. Dang it. But the reason why it becomes a weird conversation is because technically a Hardened Rage is just a really long DPS check. But most of the time we don't call the Hardened Rage a DPS check in that sense, because it's like, you know, well, it's kind of implied that that's the DPS check, I guess, in a way. Hardened Rage can't be survived, and even if you do, the screen will fade to black on you. Well, here's the thing. Ramu Extreme's ad phase is an ultimate attack charging up. If you by some magical means survived it, you can't. And if it actually gets to Hardened Rage power levels, like a one-shot because you didn't make it, it will fade to black anyway. So does an ultimate attack count as a Hardened Rage? Or is it a DPS check? You get what I mean? That's why it becomes complicated, because DPS checks have a tendency to have the same result as a Hardened Rage if you don't do it. Well, the key there, Alamercy, is that the healer's Taldemar. And Taldemar asked the tank to pull like a maniac. The tank didn't just do it because. They did it specifically because Taldemar was saying, please do that. Although I will say, I normally pull all of that minus the mini-boss if I'm tanking. Just because the mini-boss becomes kind of awkward most of the time. As you saw, we didn't get nearly as much uptime on the mini-boss as maybe we would have hoped. Because all the laser beams required us to move away. So the question is whether the net gain made it worth. But this is of course also coming in from the assumption that I'm like, I don't know if the healer's any good. Hey Harry, hope you're doing well. If you had two casters, it would be miserable. Maybe. Thank you for the gifted membership, Harry. Thank you so much. Ooh. It's a very, very slow pull, this. If you ever saw a tank trying to optimize the potential benefits of the kiting part of a pull, this would be how it looked. Dom says, this level 64 paladin is wandering around confusing Sastasha as if it's their first time. It could be their first time tanking Sastasha. And assuming if they have a Sprout icon, it isn't unlikely that it is one of the first times that they... I assume it went well, Diki. It could be one of the first times they've done Sastasha. Like, they haven't done it much. Thank you so much, Harry. Like, something that I've heard surprisingly many times is the scenario where a player is not the tank specifically, so they just follow the tank without looking, and then like if they go into such a dungeon or a duty or whatever and now they're the tank, they will approach it as if they've never been there before, because as far as like they saw the duty as if they were blindfolded and then just happened to be able to see the tank through the blindfold. They couldn't see anything else. It's really funny. Congratulations, Harry. How far have you gotten? Head player getting lost as a tank was me, says Crab Galaxy. Exactly. The thing is, sometimes the reason why this happens is because, like, when they're not the tank, they focus on the things that matter to them. As a DPS or a healer, where the tank is going and what they're pulling is not super important to keep track of. As long as you know where they are relative to you, then it doesn't really matter where they're going. You can just follow them. P3 is in sight. Nice. Oh. Okay. Hope you're doing well. The trick there, Crab Galaxy, is remember that you can open the map. And the map and Carter's Cry will essentially show you all of the dead ends in that scenario. Yeah, I saw the limit break on the boss from the machinist, but they cancelled it. I will use the limit break on the final boss, but if they use it on a pack here, that would be great too. I would be very surprised if we see the monkey trick here. The monkey trick. Here they come. Nice, Brett. Very nice. You know, Ragnarok, yeah, well, the real mega you tapped out there is that Zav mentioned it. I commented on it not happening. And then you come and say, did you know? To be fair, Zav said it over in the other chat. May you fail. Hope we will. It's funnier to call them monkeys. Okay. It's okay, Ragnarok. Yeah, it's all in good fun. What? You are not paying 1,000,000% attention to this stream? How dare you make me your second monitor entertainment? How could you? Stinger says, Kai literally said this in the middle of me dragging this window to my second monitor. In all seriousness, it's totally fine. It makes a lot more sense to have a stream on as the second monitor thing. I would be shocked if people just sat there. Like I'm pretty sure the standard is more likely to be the second monitor. So, but it's funny to act like it isn't, right? Faustus, you'll never be my second monitor content source, Kai. Or am I on the third one? You only have a laptop. Oh. Well, I do hope that it's entertaining, not just the same. And by the way, if you are enjoying the stream, everybody, it does help a lot with a like over on the YouTube side of things. So thank you so much in advance. You know how algorithms can be. Yeah. fast? Zapdos, you're my second computer stream. Oh boy. Summoner. Oops. Not Pixamancer. Summoner. I will queue when it says 50. Pop, 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 pop. Pop. Man, these queues are crazy today. Hey, Potato. Hope you're doing well. It's going quite alright. Not overwhelming or underwhelming, just whelming. Yeah. Speaking of which, are you all ready to get for some absolutely whelming content in Porta de Comana? Ow. Summonomana. Oh, that's really hard to say. Summonomana. Summonomana. Fight could use a revamp for sure. You know, the funny part there, Raphael, is would you believe it if I told you this is the revamped version? This used to be an 8-man fight, and in the 8-man version, you basically spent the first long part of it being basically unable to damage the boss because you needed the primals removed just to be able to do damage to begin with. Just in case anyone else is curious, I see Raphael already knows. Yield to the storm! What do you want me to yield? My hat? No! Not my hat! Give me your hat! It windy and hat big. That's true. Like this. And this. And don't forget this. Yield to the storm. What's it about, Diki? Mayhem? Accepting death is the greatest sin a life can commit. Oh no, sorry. Accepting death is the greatest sin a life can commit. There you go. What do you think? Yay! That's a fast cast. Pew. 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 Where's the IMO at? Oh, you know, that's fair. Let me try again. Accepting death is the greatest sin a life can commit. IMO. Calyx 2026, I think. Or is it 2025?
But the Ultima weapon is all-powerful. Why does my enemy still stand? Can her strength truly be so great?
It is the blessing of light that confounds you.
Ragnarok says, when we get Evercold evolved combat, do you think spell speed and skill speed might become more important than crit, or think crit remain king? Based on what we've seen, all skill speed and spell speed would... So, given that the jobs we have seen demonstrated basically have nothing
beyond mortal limits,
aside from their filler,
if you are to
that would
prevail,
benefit
the
from
hammer of
speed.
darkness must needs
Skill
be
speed
brought
and
to
spell
bear
speed would
upon
mean
the
more
shield of
filler.
light.
So whether that would be any good depends on how big of a percentage of your overall damage your filler contributes to. Because aside from that, your skill speed and spell speed just means that you can perform the bursts that you get faster. But ultimately, you get the same amount. Bard gets one song every 20 seconds. Dragoon gets one jump every 20 seconds. Dragoon gets one positional thingy every 10 seconds.
Has lain dormant for eons.
Paladin gets one Imperator every 40 seconds. So it ultimately comes down to, is there a job that would actually benefit a lot from speed? If not, then do the jobs do a lot of filler damage? If yes, probably. If no, then speed is probably not king. But yeah, because you have charges and all the attacks, you'll probably be fine with speed, where right now you'd hate it because it messes with your rotation and your timings. Hey Ultras, hope you're doing well. So that means that that we have a tank and a healer in the party that is also community, guys, because the tank also recognized me, I believe.
Behold, but a sliver
Yep.
of my god's power.
I don't know if the Dragoon knew me as well, but they said famous person.
Of the seven hells, to the very pinnacle
I don't know if I count as famous.
the world shall tremble. Unleash Ultima!
Unleash Ultima! Kaboom! It's very... That looks like a red mage LB to me with a blue hue to it. Eh? Gaius is the famous one. Counts as famous lizard for the bingo at least. Ayy. Holy six. Hey, Maybalo. Hope you're having a good day as well. Thank you.
Such devastation! This was not my intention!
Oh, Heidelin. It seems the task of keeping your champion alive has exhausted what strength you had left. Van Belsar, your enemy's shield is broken.
How do you know that, Labria?
The rest I leave to you.
The rest I
We
leave
will
to you.
speak later, Ascian. But first, I must deal with
We will speak
the
later,
question who
Asian.
was mightier remains.
Do you think they would be offended if you said that, Diki?
Let us find the answer together.
As a fat man and does. Hope you're doing well. And congratulations on the job, Darth. Whether new or not. Askian. We will speak later, Askian. You could also say that if you had like a donkey named Ian. No point asking Ian, my brother doesn't even play 14. Oh. Man. Well, who do we ask then, procrastinauts? What options do we have left? Dave usually knows what he's talking about. Ah. Man. Blech. Blarg. The Citadel Buster. I'm playing optimally when AoE is a gain on 1. I'm a summoner. What? I'll do it then. Mm-hmm. Don't you worry, Darth. You know for sure that I would know to do it right. Board. I'll queue into 16. Boom, 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 boom. So many insta-queue pops. Where do we go now? Is it my MSQ roulette? It is! Wah, wah, wah. Fates is 100% swapping to the new fist range in Evercold though. Before you even know what it is? No worries, Darth. Oh, this is actually gonna go through all of the DPS jobs today. There's a chance. But that would require that we get a lot of quick duties. Typically, I don't get through the whole roster. There's a chance. Well, what the thing is, Procrastinauts, with Evercold, the job that you currently main could very likely be changed enough that it is as good as changing your main. Maybe one day as a sort of marathon you could do one roulette as every job. I have done that in the past. And the funny thing is, Alice, every time I do a mentor roulette live where I'm like, I have 6 hours instead of 3, that's when, without failure, I just get drowned in extremes that take 30 minutes each, so I can't do it. So, like, I don't start a stream like this with the expectation of being able to do something where the time might vary. I usually do my homework to make sure that I either can or I don't saddle up to promise something that I can't keep. So much free damage. But all I'm saying to that, procrastinauts, is that if you just check the jobs that have been revealed, well, they haven't been changed like such a colossal amount that it's like, oh, you have to completely learn them, like a completely new job. They are different enough that there are definitely cases where you could argue that they are different enough from each other as, say, two different versions of the same job could also be. But I think it's not super important that you stick to the same job forever. In fact, I feel like a lot of the time, a lot of the discourse where people completely lose their mind when a job gets some major change, whether it needed it or not, I think often stems from the fact that people get a little too attached to their main. So it might actually be healthy for your own peace of mind to not get too attached to any job. But that being said, do whatever you think is fun, right? Most important details. It's video game, everybody. We're playing for fun. I know. Amazing, amazing discovery. So, if you decide that the most fun you can have is continue to play Dancer, then do that. I think there's a good chance that a lot of jobs will be very, very approachable in Evercold, procrastinauts. So you don't have to worry about whether there is a job that is like approachable enough for you if you think like, oh, I don't want to get overwhelmed. Based on what I've seen, like the concern from a lot of players is actually that the jobs will be too simple. Hey Jason says, what's your main? Presently I main Paladin for Savage, but most of the time if I can choose whatever job I want to play, I'll play Black Mage. In my hands, the easiest job in the game. It's a very important detail there. What's the hardest then? For me? Bard or Dragoon or Ninja? I basically have it's a little bit of a running thing on the channel of every time I end up in a duty as Bard. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when I forget to use my songs or maintain my dot. And I'm just not super fond of the sort of strictness of the cooldown management on Dragoon. Which probably makes a lot more sense why I view Black Mage as so simple, because it has like 2 cooldowns. And one of them has 2 charges. Oh, 3 cooldowns. One of them has 2 charges. One of them is unimpactful enough that it doesn't really matter that much. Mana font. And the last one, you can just click it. Because it's amplifier. Hey, Bolin! Hope you're doing well. And Nixie too. The thing that is difficult for me with those jobs is that Dragoon and Ninja both have somewhat strict burst timings. Ninja more so. And it's kind of spammy in that. Ninja is probably the harder one between the two. For me. And for Bard, it's that it has that and dot management. Mana Font is unimpactful. Practically speaking, what Mana Font does is it lets you skip Blizzard 3 and Blizzard 4. And Ice Paradox. That's all it does. It lets you skip 2 terrible spells. So in the grand scheme of what Mana Font accomplishes is that it pulls up your average potency slightly. Like, I don't know what exactly would be the necessary potency to hit it right, but imagine if Imagine if Bard actually had a GCD that had 100 seconds of cooldown. It was a GCD, and its potency was like 100 more than burst shot. Like, it's marginally better than your filler. That's how, like, that's how Mana Font feels when you sit down with the math of it. In practice, it feels way more impactful. It's just that when it really comes to it, it just means you get to skip your greens once. And it requires a surprising amount of effort to do that. Just to add on top of it. Something cool in the ice phase because it'd be potentially thematic. You know, it is funny. Endwalker put Ice Paradox in it. And the most incredible achievement that accomplished is that players found a way to spend a little... like, players looked for a way to avoid casting Blizzard 3 and 4 altogether. Hey, Rain! Yeah, there's also something to be said with respect to my statement of I find Bard, Ninja, and Dragoon hard, is that I don't play, like, it's not like I'm like, oh, they're really hard, but man, I really enjoy them, so I play them anyway. I don't play them that much. My opinion is that, like, I think there are more fun jobs to play than Ninja and Dragoon, and Bard is like one of my favorite jobs in the way that it looks. Like the way that it looks when it is fighting. It has amazingly awesome animations in my opinion. I just don't enjoy playing it that much. And as a result, I'm not as good at it, right? Machinist. Oh, Q says 19. Ooh, we're back in the trial land. And as a result, when you get Ninja on the wheel, it's high-level content. Yeah, true. Is the Metricon is calling that we're getting Frost style? It could happen. Oh boy. Looks like we have... Is that Rain? I think we have Rain and Ilana. We at least have Rain and Ilana, so that's a good start. Train time! Big stream that doesn't feel like an extreme at all. Yeah. The most extreme mechanic in this fight is you getting yeeted. Metricon says, I think in 8.0 what they should do is if you hit an enemy that when it's invulnerable it plays a big air horn honk. It doesn't just go pink, it just goes on. And just play the whole like truck horn. Zane says, in my community, we call Volns shame stacks. We ironically sometimes call it your crown king. I don't know, that's damage down. So very sorry. Obviously not the same. I see the problem, Rain. Your co-tank is not listening. Just tank the damage. Just tank the damage, Rain, and don't stack them. Don't stack them. Do not stack them. You just have to tank the damage, Rain. It doesn't kill you. You just take damage. But we will not make it if you refuse to tank the damage. Besides, in a second, they're gonna swap debuffs on us anyway. It's more the warrior's fault, Rain, but don't worry about it. And yeah, the debuff is not very well indicated at all. I specifically learned it myself because I was like, I don't know what it means, and multiple people explained it to me. Because it is such a whatever mechanic that, like, you could do it completely wrong, and you're just like, why do they do so much damage to me? It's because you're hurting yourself. But yeah, don't stack the serpents. That is the last thing you could do. That is the worst possible solution. It's very convenient that sometimes they'll just give the tanks the appropriate debuff so they don't have to do anything. Nice. The chonkiest ninja. Oops. Oh. Yeah, we could have had it. I just didn't believe. We could have had it. It could have been worth it. I'm very sorry. It's like one hit away. Hey Philip! Hope you're doing well. Ow. I don't remember this weather. Weird. Green weather? Hey. Don't worry about it, Rain. It can be really chaotic when you're like, I know it's supposed to be done one way, but the other tank isn't playing. It's not doing the thing. And then you get desperate, you don't know what to do. And then you might, like, walk backwards right into the one thing you shouldn't do. There's a big AoE in the center and water weather, and the bubbles get plus 200% damage. I see. Me when it finally rained today. Speaking of which, ninja time. Although, before we do that, I will be right back. In the meantime, sanity restore. Alright, I'm back. Hey, Polterjosh. Hope you're doing well. Rain can only show up on the second set. Ah, yeah, that would do it. Can only show up and isn't guaranteed. That would definitely mean that I wouldn't notice it much. Thank you, Rain. Good night, Alamercy. And hey, Zelly. Right. Says he says I just got Ninja to 100 recently, and it's probably my favorite melee now. Nice. I just find it a little much when trying, especially in dungeons. Like the planning and dealing with downtime and such. By the way, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, it does help a lot with a like over on the YouTube side of things. Algorithms. Hey, Stony! Right, I will queue when it says 31. Are you ready for... I don't know... big extreme time? Leaves thinks Ninja gets easier once you get the right use. Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's just that there's so many cooldowns, like the individual cooldowns that can drift a little bit, and I just prefer other jobs. Again, it probably explains a lot when I say that my favorite is Black Mage, who doesn't have a lot of cooldowns to manage. Will we finally hit a point where we're going down the list to tank? Enderman says, I had a baby Sprout Dragoon in Amrod, and on the last boss, I think they were just focused on dodging mechanics and not attacking for a third of the fight. Oh no. Oh no. Huh, this fight is taking a while. Camera pans to the Sprout who's not even casting anything. Hey, go! Hope you're doing well. Ninja's one of the ones I'm a little scared for in Evolved. Yeah, I'll put it down that if Ninja gets the PvP style jutsus in Evolved, then I called it. What has duty distribution been today? A lot of 8-man content. Well, we have the Dark Knight that does his homework from earlier. Hey, Kraken Mo! The last boss in Amarod has a soft enrage. It has exactly a soft enrage. Oh, we need a replacement in a second. It has exactly a soft enrage because if you want, like if you feel like it, a tank can just solo it if you get that far. A pretty big emphasis on soft. We're very close to the... we just need Ifrit Extreme as well. Then we have the Summoner 3. Oh! We got an Agent Monica. Fantastic. Oop. see the end. We will die if the tanks don't do something real quick. Oh man. This is an option. But this is gonna get real scary. Before it gets any easier. And now they're very close again. If we somehow miraculously make it, we will have the new problem that yeah. Hey, Rust. I'm just distributing the task because in the last pull Olivia there had Garuda and Sid was actually moving about. So I assume Sid can handle that better than Olivia. Hey, Jack. And it... Uh-oh. In the chaos, we forgot about the Satan Plume. Yeah, it's not gonna work. As long as Apana is here, we can't do anything. I'm glad to hear that, Faith. Nice. We're not fully out of the woods yet. We need to make sure some of those rocks survive until the aerial blast, but I think we got that one. Now we just need to kill her before she leaves again, pretty much. Or alternatively, we need the Scholar to really bring it with the mitigation. Because I don't trust the tanks to be able to handle the spiny plume shenanigans. So I'm not gonna expect them to. Nice. Well, okay, all you have to do is play bar, I think. And of course, you know, challenge yourself here and there, I think. That often helps, if you feel that way. Samurai. We might actually get through all of the DPS tonight. I'll queue when it says 53. Hey, Fruity Snacks! And hello, Raiders! That's crazy! Welcome aboard! We're doing some men's roulette in Final Fantasy XIV, which is a little bit like a, basically an anything goes, type of queue where we just get whatever duty. On top of that, I tend to spin wheels to decide what jobs I'm playing, because I have all of them unlocked and I can play all of them. We can get anything. We just came from an extreme Garuda. And if you don't know me, I normally do. You may have seen me in connection with combat job guides or mental roulettes, a shock, or some sort of math-related videos on YouTube. Do a little bit of varied stuff here. I assume you were fishing, Fruity Snacks? We were, of course, fishing. Nice. And started with some you mad prep stuff. Oh boy. Well, I hope that went well. On my end, I'm still working on getting through phase 2 of Lindworm. So, right, well, I think we finally hit the point where we're not getting quick queues on DPS. Let me see what tank we spun earlier. We had a Dark Knight spun up, so we'll queue as that instead. That is, of course, instant. And we have ARF. We have the ARF. Fruity Snacks says, I'm waiting on my group before going back to M11S. We're on Enrage. Oh! Wait, what do you mean by you mad prep stuff then? Oh, is the you mad prep stuff that you're doing savage clears? I mean, that should count, right? That is technically a sort of prep. My mad prep said I'm getting gear and my M12S clear to unlock it. Ah, yes. Yep, that makes sense. The last Savage I touched was M1S for 1 lockout. Ugh. So you had to get through M9, 10, and 11, or M9 and 10 so far from not having Savage raided for a while. Yeah, I came back into Savage raiding with Dawntrail. Last time I Savage raided was a very brief stint on Proto-Kabi in Endwalker. And before that, I was in a team in the middle of Shadowbringers. I should not have used Blood Weapon there. Hey Reggie! Hope you're doing well as well! My Blood Weapon is going to waste! Oh, I think I got it! I think I got my value. Pro tip, guys, don't precast Blood Weapon like that. Thank you for the snacks, and thank you for the raid. Have a good time.
I will crush you underfoot.
I will crush you underfoot. Would you like to declare something? Oh, I was just about to say if you wanted to declare something in the name of someone.
Enough.
But I guess you got to it before I could say it. I'm having a good time. We're having quite a lot of extremes today. Once again. In the name of the Emperor! In the name of the Emperor! Enough! Enough!
Enough!
Enough! Come back here, you! I invoke the privilege of tank to just smack the boss. Instructions unclear. Pop Blood Weapon as soon as I spawn in the duty. Reminds me of like a long time ago.
In the name of the Emperor.
Yeah, sorry. A long time ago at this point, I remember getting, I believe it was Sunken Temple of Khan, with a paladin that basically spawned into the duty and just went bap 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 on all of their defensive cooldowns, and then everything ticked out before we could go. Like, wow, nice job, I guess. Well done. It worked out. I was healer, if I recall correctly. And then like a week or two later, I landed in Sunken Temple of Khan hard with the same paladin who had amazingly learned nothing and just brap 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 and spent every defensive cooldown they had. They had improved their opening strategy by adding Hallowed Ground to the mix. Hey, Naruto! Hope you're doing well. What a gamer! He just went, I don't need these. And hey, Pints, also by the way, let me see if I can catch all of these raiders here. Hey, Mia Koda and Dr. QX? Dr. Q? Pint-sized Phoenix. Oh, that's adorable. Hope you're all having a good time. And I hope you had a good time with Fruity Snacks as well. Ew. Soloing Twintania synced on Blue Mage right now? Oh boy. Good luck. Thank you so much much, Nano. I'm glad to hear that. I think I saw you in the chat yesterday as well. I was just a little bit focused on our little collaboration. For those that missed it, yesterday we had a little collaboration with Miabyte and Hector. Yes, that Hector. Making tier lists. We ranked the Scions and all of the Arcadian music. Well, the Arcadian boss music. Some did mention that we skipped the green room music, but yeah. That was really funny. There is a VOD, so I'm not just saying, well, unfortunately you missed it. Kansas Green is the best, I'll die on that hill. I mean, I would rank most of them extremely high. The problem is that when you have this many bangers, we had to decide some of them that were proportionally worse. The white mage got left at the very last second, I think. I also do enjoy soloing some content, but Twintania synced sounds pretty rough. Basically enrage Tintani and then go to town once enrage starts. Huh! Guys, what happens if the hard enrage doesn't forcibly one-shot you? Enter Blue Mage soloing Twintania. It takes about 30 minutes. Oh boy. That reminds me of way back in I believe World of Warcraft Legion, where there was a boss in the final raid where someone found out that there was a safe spot. And that the hardened rage, which is just like constant damage, didn't hit through invulnerability. I believe the fight took hours, like hours and hours, because the trick was that you just run to the safe spot and then wait for your invuln. And then run over during your invuln and hit the boss like a couple times, then run back to the safe spot. Is that the one where everyone stood behind the door? No, 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 no. It was a huge infernal construct. Like, you know, classic Final Fantasy XIV style wall boss. But there was like a little, like, bit in the floor right where you enter. That for some reason didn't get hit by the hardened rage. It was like the boss just constantly doing bam, 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 just smashing the ground. But yet, correct, Asymmetricon. It's not the first or the last time that there's a gimmick solo in WoW because of something like that. Jack says, any first timers? I'm going to guess that the summoner is a first timer because they just asked us what poetics are for. They said, what can I do with elegant tomestones? It says I'm full all the time. And then Kaylee here explained where to spend them on like the old school way, Modona, Adelshire, and while I explained the blue pouches. The level 60 and don't know what poetics are for? Well, I mean, the game doesn't outright hurt you to understand what it is or where they go. Nea Kobe? Yeah, what are poetics for? How much time you got? Right, so there's a list. Liedjath?
Darkness shall consume light.
Why?
Mortal scum!
I'm not scum, I'm a lizard. Uh-oh.
Know your place.
That was the safest move. It would have been easier for everyone to reach by pointing the laser inwards or something, but it will just make it feel like, well, then we don't know where you're going. So just standing still, probably the safer move in that moment.
Chaos shall reign forevermore.
Chaos shall reign forevermore. Chaos! 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 I have a feeling the healer knows what to do. That's correct, Darth. Those blue pouch vendors, as I call them, were added not too long ago, but definitely very convenient to have. Pine Size Phoenix says, I missed the older version of this boss. It was interesting, but I do feel like the fact that its major mechanic was just turbo-janked black holes that had like a kind of wonky response rate was not... I feel like this version is nicer, but I also find it very ironic that they reworked it to this version in the same expansion where we have Vanaspati with the bubbles that are equally unresponsive. I'll say, Decade, hope you're doing well, and thank you so much for the Prime. And hey, Endelgar, hope you're doing well as well. Ragnarok here says, is Rowena going to become a full villain in Evercold once she loses her Tombstone monopoly? The plot twist no one expected. The big bad of Evercold. Because of a change in a game mechanic. You know, I'm not surprised. Thank you so much, Decade. I am working on several videos on it, but you should see the first one come sometime this week. Is Asian Prime debuff slop? Yes, he is. He is one of the earliest incarnations of the debuff soup. And you know what? That is technically because of his rework. In the old version, he just had a mechanic where if you goofed it up, he gave you every single debuff in the game. Well, that's maybe an exaggeration, but basically he gave you like 6 different debuffs just going, screw you, man. Oh! Apparently something started a hype train. Crazy. Thank you, guys. But yeah, he basically uses debuff soup. Session Prime charmed you? Let's see. I believe he silenced, slowed, heavied, paralyzed, and ruffled your hair, ruined your hairstyle, and called you scum. No, he does that in phase 1. And it did that in phase 1. You get my point. Need fluorite? Whoa! Well, thank you so much for the 10 gifted subs, Ilana. That's crazy. Thank you so much. Oh boy. Look at these gamers learning so fast. They got it exactly right in the second try. Snapshot slop. Does this boss normally take this long? This duty normally takes about this long. Maybe a little bit less. Because we did wait for cutscenes for the summoner. But no, that is pretty standard ARF. I see, Lydia. Yeah, I just try my best in any duty. So, but I also have made guides for Realm Reborn Extreme, so I'm pretty well equipped to just deal with it. Although my guides are optimized for what you'll see in Mental Roulette, not what you'll see in Minimize Metal No Echo. Thank you. Thank you for 10 gifted subs, Granty. Thank you so much. It's crazy, guys. It's an explosion. Thank you. Play data influx. Warrior. However, before we do that, we have a samurai queued from before. See if we can get it to pop this time. Well, Q&A says 45. 45. Ooh. Thank you for the gifted sub, Faust. Thank you so much. It's very much appreciated, everybody. Have a good evening, Baranti. And that is correct, Lydia. My 2-minute guides for Realm Reborn Extremes are specifically assuming that certain mechanics don't hurt as much as they would on Minimizing Low Echo, and some of the strategies that are suggested assume that you skip certain things. Like, for instance, my suggested strategy for Garuda Extreme doesn't really address how you deal with the Spiny Plume. Because it's, like, your average random group that you'll land in with Mental Roulette will not, like, grasp that very easily. It's easier to just go, okay, listen guys, just blast, and then if it comes to it, just tank LB. But that doesn't work in Minimizing Low Echo, I'm pretty sure. Arzane says, what does Chort mean? It's a reference to a boss in the newest dungeon. It's just people got to think he's really funny. And he's also very wide. There's just something about meeting a boss being referred to as the Chort. The Chort. Well, I guess, you know, how about we grab the healer that we rolled? We have Scholar. Are we going back into the MSQ roulette mines? Vanguard. Sure. You guys got Uewata. Nice. Yo, the Dark Knight is using burst bots. We're gaming now. I'm not gonna complain. I think I forgot to use Consolation once. Moral saying they're basically trying to make it so that there is a distinction between main tanks and off tanks in Evercold. It doesn't, based on what I've seen, I don't believe it means nearly as much as people give it, like, make it seem like. Because we've seen what Paladin has. They're like, off tanks will be better at like reducing damage for the party. Meanwhile, Paladin has Divine Veil and Passage of Arms and technically access to cover, and they can still use their Holy Sheltron to protect others. So basically, imagine that the main tank jobs will probably have that thing that they showed for Paladin, where you, like, when you're hit on your short mitigation, you get a counterattack. And off-tank specific tanks just don't have that. Start with assuming that until we know more. And thank you for the trade, everybody. That was crazy. The trick there, Akafrieden, is remember that you're basically going, well, they're changing the tanks, but let's assume that the game is unchanged. That's the way that that logic works that you're presenting right there. If they have specialized tanks for taking big hits, if they want you to feel like you have to bring a main tank, they know what to do. They just have to make sure the main tanks are the only, like, are needed, or that they are superior enough at taking the damage that they're needed. But basically, point is, we don't know enough. So calm down. I have a whole video on this. Guys, I have a video on this called Main Tank Speaking. So, like, I have spent time discussing this already. The key to remember is that we don't know enough for you to sit there and make wild assumptions. You're just gonna make the wrong assumption, then get mad. So my suggestion, if you're gonna start making assumptions and expectations, start positive. Start by hoping for the best, and then imagine what that would look like. Because we do sure have plenty of people that are capable of imagining the worst case scenario. I forgot to pick up my pet. It's actually pretty funny contrast like a week ago with there was a new fellowship season drop, and there were so many people who were ready to share their opinion on what was wrong or bad about the game. And each time that people were like, look, man, we've only heard you complain about the game, the response was, no, I just want the game to be as good as it can be. And it's like, yeah, but you're repeating the same complaint that we've heard all day or for weeks or for months. Like, you're not adding anything new, and you're just like making everyone sad. Could you try and word your feedback positively? And then like half the conversation disappeared when they were asked to just try and say something positive instead. It's very easy to complain. Turns out it's a lot harder to just be nice sometimes. I mean, there is something to be said that, oh yeah, but if there's nothing nice to say, then maybe the game is bad. Yeah, but we don't necessarily assume that a game is perfect because you can't think of something negative to say in the moment. Also that, Cole. If it is so bad that you just can only think of bad things, then why are you playing? Why are you so convinced that you need to give them advice on how it's done? I've seen a bit of both asymmetricon. I'll say that both is possible, but I sure see a lot of people, like, when people say that they think that the removal of the 2-minute burst will save the game, I will say that they are speaking on something that we actually have been told is gonna change. Whereas a lot of the negative stuff I see is people trying to, like, predict how something is gonna go. Like, that's the key difference here, is we know for a fact that the 2-minute burst is going. Now, whether it will or will not be great is, you know, up for debate, sure. But we know that that is happening. We don't know how tanks are gonna work. Not enough that you can make, like, a super pessimistic take on knowing exactly how it's gonna play out. You can make a guess, but we can all do that. Shalem says, speaking of that, I want to get the information from the next FanFest without all the spoilery stuff. What would be your suggestion? You would basically need to try and find people, like, for example, content creators that give a summary of what's going on, where you know that they don't put the mega spoilers in there. For the first FanFest reveals about Evolved Mode stuff, I feel like I was pretty good, in my opinion, about explaining what it was about without putting spoilers in it. Now, depends on what you define as spoilers. For instance, if you count seeing anything as spoilers, then there's nothing you can do. But if you're like, I just want to know the mechanics, but I don't want to get spoiled on story, then I would say that what I presented in the first FanFest bit, the things that I've shown haven't been spoilers. But that would be the way I would suggest, is you can almost assume that in the FanFest context of things, like, you know, Yoshi P is basically motivated to make the reveals as, like, shocking and surprising as possible, which means that, like, anything new and cool is a go, which means that you can't really be sure when he's gonna drop a little nugget that you didn't want to know, like a little piece of info that you didn't actually feel like you were ready for story-wise. But if you have a video from someone you know isn't gonna start detailing like random stuff and it's gonna stay focused, then you should be safe to watch that without getting spoiled. And I mean, I'm gonna try my best. Now, the key thing to keep in mind though is that compared to the first FanFest, where I was home to watch it on stream and then just work on a video immediately, I'm going to be in Berlin for the next FanFest, so I'll be late. So you'll have to wait longer if you want my take. We're not getting hotel room laptop cam, Kai? No. We are not. I'm not a very experienced traveler, so I'm just gonna focus on actually just making that work. And then maybe next time I'll be better at that. Are you flying to Berlin? I'm taking the bus, Crab Galaxy. I'm from Denmark, remember? Yes, it's that close. Kai Mark. Sometimes the dragoon knows me. Hey. The thing is, let's just say that for me to take a plane, I would have to first take a bus or a train in a different direction. It's kind of counterproductive. Well, I could have taken the train. Oh, the fight is over. Lollipop says you can just take a bus. That's amazing. I bet the scenery will be nice. Yeah, I'm sure it will be. When I can see it. I'm taking the midnight bus. Hey, Connie! Hope you're doing well. And Bolt Blitz, hope you're doing well as well. Does it go anywhere like the midnight train? Yes, but it doesn't quite go to the sun. He took the midnight train going anywhere. Straight into the sun. But yeah, it'll be great, I'm sure. But yeah, make sure to say hi if you see me. And I'll probably, once everyone arrives, I'll probably be accompanied by... Well, I'll be in the company of some of my raid team. Says, I need 3 job recommendations, no Arcanists. 1 physical DPS, magic DPS, and a healer. Don't give reasons, just choose. Black Mage, Dancer, Sage. Kai face reveal at FanFest. What? Turns out I don't look like this at all. Finally without the VTuber. Are you going to dress up as anything for FanFest? No. I will arrive. And because I'm not dressed up as anything, it'll be easier to tell that it's me. Wear a big hat? I might be able to do that, but I don't have a pink hat. Hey Lex! Hope you're doing well. Kai is going to Fantasia into a Lala-sized Kai, right? That would be strange. If he's the lizard IRL and have been using the wrong pronouns the whole time, there's nothing to. There's nothing to worry about there, silly. If you've checked my profile on the Discord, you know that I don't mind. Get a 10-gallon hat and spray paint it pink. I know. But yeah, I'll be there, so if you're gonna be at the Fan Fest, then do feel free to say hi. I don't know why you'd want it, but I'll bring a pen if you want me to sign something. I don't know why you'd want that, but I'll have it if you want it. Yeah, I am, Faith. Okay, is this gender whatever's funniest for the bit? Exactly. If I had more time, I could probably see you a lizard hat that's pink. That would be really funny. Thank you, Faith. I was very graciously given a ticket, though. Which is why I a couple months ago said I don't have one, and suddenly I somehow have one. Square watches you. That would be nice. Would you sign a sign that says sign? Yes. Why not? He says, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody at Square Enix does watch. Okay. Well, what I do know, it's been a while. Some of you may remember at the very start of Dawntrail, there was a bug that made it so that this trait, specifically the part about the pet abilities, Embrace and Seraphic Veil, and this trait, specifically about the attacks from Ifrit, Titan, and Garuda, didn't work. As in, the tooltips grid updated with the new potency and everything, but the damage increase and the healing increases were not applied. And I made a video about it. Thank you, Ardell. And we're talking, this was technically a problem that was introduced with Dawntrail, and then people started mentioning, like, that they had noticed there was something weird here that people were checking, and then I checked it and found that, yeah, that's correct, it's bugged. Made a video about it. Then it was picked up and put in a Japanese gaming news article. And, like, the day after, there was a post, like, an update from Square Enix, you know, a 14 update saying, yes, we know it's there. We're changing it with the next major update. We're fixing it then. So I'm going to assume that someone at Square Enix saw it. So I'm guessing someone there has seen me, I guess. And I eat a red. Yeah, until then, I'm just until then that we know for sure that they watch me or not, I'll just be a small lizard in a big hat, and that's okay. The intern who fetches them coffee is a massive Chaiji fan. Now, pretty crazy how we started with getting 5 duties in 1 hour. 2 of them being extremes. Oh, yeah. Procrastinauts, let me just say that the thing we did yesterday was in collaboration both with other creators, but it was not arranged by any one of us. I don't know how much I'm allowed to talk specifically on that, but yeah, it was an idea from a 4th person. Yeah, there are some community management stuff somewhere associated with something with Square Enix that I have had interactions with. But I don't know how much I can specify that, so I'm not going to. So they're just going to be The very, very friendly Shadow Council or something. And that's fair. You three do that together. Not even, it was just anyone want to do this thing, and we three wanted to. But yeah, then, after 5 duties with 2 extremes in it, we did 7 duties in 2 hours. Hey, Screamy Bingo! Hope you're doing well, and I'm glad to hear that. Thank you so much for telling me. Anyone wanna do a Dunk on Minfilia live stream? No, I think Hector came up with that one all on his own. Hey, Richard Berry. Hope you're doing well. Now, so is mental roulette any different from regular roulette? So, take for instance expert roulette. This one only includes 2 duties, right? These 2. Level cap dungeons includes these duties. High level dungeons includes basically the level 50, 60, 70, 80, and 90 duties. Leveling includes all of the leveling duties. The trials includes all of the normal trials and so on. Mental roulette now has 3 main things. The first one is that it's very it requires that you've done a lot to unlock it, because you have to unlock every duty in it to be able to play it. Whereas most of the other roulettes are fine if you have unlocked 2 things. Then you can do them. You also, of course, also need to be a mentor. The second thing is that unlike all of the other roulettes, a mentor roulette cannot pop exclusively consisting of people queuing mentor roulette. You can only fill a party for a queue of someone else is doing. So, in a 4-man duty, 3 of the 4 players can be from mentor roulette. The 4th one has to have queued into it somehow, whether it's through a different roulette or specifically choosing it. It has to be have been something that someone specified. And then thirdly, the duties that are in the mentor roulette, I hope you're paying attention here now. The duties that are present in the mentor roulette are all of the following from here. Hey, Biggie! Hope you're doing well. No pressure. Well, we just get good, right? Is that all? Basically, the only duties that are not on the list is current expansion extremes, Coils of Bahamut, any Savage Raid, PvP, Ultimates, basically anything in this menu is not there. But yeah, basically, aside from that, everything. And yeah, the reason why, despite it being such a vast list that it feels like we keep getting the same ones, is that, I mean, just because you could land on Zodiac Extreme or, I don't know, Insing Extreme, who's queuing for that? My perspective on that, Lex, as I've said many times before, is if you queue for an extreme duty, you should have made sure to do your homework on the job you're playing. Make sure you actually know how to play it. And you should not blind queue for extremes. You should read or watch a guide. You should have an idea of what's happening when you go in. Now, if you're queuing for an extreme, there's a likely chance that you do it because you don't know that what you're signing up for. But here's the trick. You know me, and I told you that you have to do it. Canalda says, now I'll let the mentor figure it out for me. Here's the problem, actually, Canalda. There's nothing in this whole contract, quote-unquote, saying that the mentors have to teach you how to do the fight. So if they can't tell you or can't explain it to you, that's your problem. And if you can't do anything, if you just dead on the floor for every single pull because you can't do anything, then you're the problem player. Keep that in mind. And if you're terrible enough and you don't even try to figure it out, then you have a problem, right? So do your homework. And because you know me, you know that I told you to do your homework. So you can't say you didn't know. By virtue of having seen me say this right now, you no longer have the option to say you didn't know. Because I told you. And the most important reason why, or rather an additional detail as to why there's no point in blind queuing, is that some people will go, you know, now I don't want to watch a guide, I'll just learn it. I'll just learn it blind with the team. You're cheating yourself by doing that. Because if you queue into a duty where you don't know for sure that everyone in the party are blind to the duty, then, well, let's just say, if you have a fully blind party queue into Ramuh Extreme, has never done it before, the best you might have is that maybe someone in the party remembered from the hard version that there were these orbs and they did something when you picked 3 of them up. But it's very likely that the first thing that happens is that tank pulls, dies, and then the other tank dies, and then the party dies. You'd have to figure out in that moment how all these mechanics work that I like basically just explain, or some of the party just knows and then just does it correctly. If you're at if you're a tank and you queue into Ramuh Extreme and the other tank grabs 3 orbs and provokes the boss, you're no longer, like, you've been cheated because you didn't get to figure this out blind. And if you're not like that, that's why I'm saying if you know that you're queuing into the duty, then you might as well do your homework, because you should do your part if you're queuing into content like that. It's too difficult for a lot of players to deal with. But you are correct, Canada, that there are definitely players that don't do their homework, expecting the mentors to do it for them. But that they are very few players, and for the most part, this is more like a misunderstanding of what is actually happening. These players might not even realize that this content is hard. Craig says, figuring stuff out can be fun if you're in voice with friends. Yeah, exactly. It can be fun if you have a full team that is figuring it out together. The problem is in, you know, roping 7 strangers into that. Like, if you queue into, again, for instance, Ramuh Extreme, have not done your homework, even the other sprouts might hate you for doing that. Like, some of them might have done their homework, and then you're here expecting someone else to explain it, right? Hey, Jared X. Hope you're doing well. Lex says, can we have a count on every Mentor Roulette stream how many times you get into this exact same tangent of do your homework, and there's nothing in Mentor Roulette that says the mentor has to be a teacher? I mean, it would go to 1 each time, wouldn't it? But it is funny how often people read the word mentor and then add properties to it that are not in it. But yeah, that is my advice. Granted, you can choose to go, I'll just not look it up anyway. But as I said, if you like to watch what I do, surely you would also be at least somewhat in agreement with me on this, that it makes more sense to have done your homework. Because it is too hard otherwise. And I am saying that from the perspective of someone, I'm the someone who has done Sephiroth Extreme with 2 cure bots. So it's not like I'm like, oh, well, they don't know how to do it, so I'll just give up. I'll try. I'll grab you by the collar and drag you over the finish line. If that's what it takes and if I can. But you don't have to, like tie yourself to a rock. What do you mean by calling it honest healers, Morazane? A much older term than cure bots. What's an honest healer? The reason why, if it means the same thing as a cure bot, then the reason why it didn't stick is because it sounds like a compliment. But yeah, basically. And the funny thing is, there are several, like, the thing is, you don't need the healers to attack to make the DPS check on those duties. Of course not. But let's just say that I had a run of Leviathan Extreme a while back, where we had 2 healers that were very, very overwhelmed. That eventually one of them was like, I have to go now. They tried to abandon the duty. I said, well, then you have to leave. The rest of us still have time, so you have to leave. So they left, and the other healer left too. And then we got 2 healers. At least one was from the community, if not both. Suddenly, the ads that we didn't have the capacity to kill before they put down their fear fields anymore died before they even got to cast anything. And there was no healing problems anymore. On top of that, but the key being that the healers attacking suddenly made the fight a million times easier. And hey, Pixel! Yeah, mental roulettes isn't quite the same as roulettes. But yeah, that's essentially where I'm coming from when I'm like saying do your homework, is because it's really, really hard otherwise. I'm gonna try, but that is the reason why I say these things, is because I don't, when I'm in the duty, just to be clear on this, Kanauda, I don't know if you caught me saying this earlier. When I land in an extreme, I don't go, no, you should have done this in Party Finder. I say, and you've probably seen it if you have landed in duty with me, or maybe if you look really closely on the stream when it happens. I say, should we talk tactics or just give it a go? And if people stop and don't do anything, or ask for tactics and don't pull, then I explain how the boss works. And if someone pulls, then we deal with that. And then if we wipe, I'll be like, if it seems like, oh, well, we got this, then I just go, oh, give it another go. Try again. It seems like we got this. If it's so bad that we need something explained, I'll be like, can you not pull again so we can talk tactics? And then I'll explain what went wrong. And we go again. But let's just say that in the times where everyone has done their homework, something like Ramuh Extreme is like a 4-minute duty. No talk. No problems. Just in and out. Quick adventure. With some amount of sprouts and some amount of mentors, and it just works. It's like so much easier. And so instead of me going into a duty and then making the people that wanted the duty feel bad for queuing it by saying they should have done this in Party Finder, I just give it everything I have in there, and then I'll tell you guys who I know I can reach to make sure you have done your homework. And then you can be awesome. And then what happens is that when someone runs into someone that's from the community, whether they know that you're from there or not doesn't matter. But when I land in a duty with people that recognize me, it's usually a good sign. Procrastinator says, I'm curious to know what level we're talking about when we say do your homework, because I'm one of those people that can read any amount of guides and watch any amount of videos, but none of it really goes in until I actually try it. Let's just say, Procrastinators, that everyone benefits more from practical experience than a guide. There's just a difference that pulling Ramuh, I just stick to Ramuh to keep it simple, and going through 2-3 minutes of duty so that you can try your hands on Rolling Thunder takes 3 minutes times 8 people. Whereas you reading in a guide, Rolling Thunder does this and you have to do that. Takes 10 seconds. So you can read it like 300 times, potentially, and still have spent less time. So, I'm not saying, therefore, you should do that. I'm saying, each person requires a different amount. If you're, for instance, going to queue for Ramuh Extreme, you could watch. I have a 2-minute guide for Ramuh Extreme. A video, 2 minutes, explaining everything that matters. You could go to a text guide. You could watch someone else's guide. And just write down the important things. It's really helpful to do that, because you will discover that you weren't paying attention. If you like, just try to say every time the boss casts something, what does it mean when the boss casts that? What does that do, and what am I supposed to do about it? Because if you can't explain that, it's either because you don't understand what's being said, or you weren't paying attention. If it's the latter, oh, that sucks. Maybe check again. If it's the former, well, then you certainly know what you need to try and hopefully convince someone to explain to you. Something you need to pay more attention to when the duty starts proper, right? But at that point where you've tried to explain to yourself what the mechanics are, you have tried to understand it. Whereas just queuing in means that you have not tried. You have basically put all of the burden of figuring out this fight on someone else's shoulders. Or you have put it on the quote-unquote dime of the rest of the party's time, because maybe they understand how Rolling Thunder works, but if it lands on you and it doesn't get resolved without your input, for whatever reason, then that wipe could be on you. Is that a problem? It's okay to wipe. It's okay to wipe. I'm not saying you need to do your homework so we can do this in one pull. Not at all. But it's basically like if you did 0 attempt to learn, because you feel like you get much less value out of your time doing homework as opposed to the practical thing, like the real thing, then that's not very considerate of the rest of the team, is what I'm saying. At least try to check out a guide and things like that. The queue will also probably be really long, so you don't have any reason to not do that while you queue for Rainbow Extreme for 30 minutes. Might as well check out a guide, right? When it comes to job homework, I'm basically saying, do you understand how your job works? Do you understand how it's meant to be played? Double check with a guide. Again, could be written, could be mine, could be a video, could be someone else's, doesn't matter. Double check with someone else. Because you might think you know exactly how your job works, only to find that you're completely incorrect. And I say that, and then I'll just add to this that when I make my job guides, right, my videos, I cross-reference what I put in my guide with other guides to make sure that I'm not wrong. So I do this. I'm not saying, well, I'm the authority, so you have to do what I say. I'm saying, you are not good enough on your own. None of us are. We need to use our power to work together. And you can work together with people without even being in the duty. Progressinaut says, this is the main thing that stops me even trying any endgame content. I watch the guides, I read the guides, but there's so much stuff to remember. You're not expected to remember all of it. You just remember some of it. Check this out, Procrastinauts. It took me like 2 hours to review Hector's guide for Phase 2 of Lindworm Savage. Final boss of the current raid tier. Because I had to write all of this as notes. And there are still parts of it where I misunderstand or forget or don't do it right. But me writing all of this meant that I spent extra time on every mechanic that turned out to be difficult for me. Because if I couldn't explain it, then I clearly didn't get it yet, right? And yeah, exactly, just to take what Beaky said, it's fine if we wipe and I can see people trying. Specifically, it's fine if we wipe and I can see people trying. It's just more annoying when it's quite obvious people haven't looked before and then aren't looking at chat or wanting to learn. Exactly, the hardest extremes are the ones where people are clearly not even trying to catch up on all the stuff they don't know. But yeah, just like I understand it's a little bit like I think where you're coming from, Procrastinauts, is by the way, I'm sure some of my Mount Farm buddies are watching the clock and being like, "Will he remember in time? I have seen, and I have 15 minutes." When I went to gymnasium, it's like high school, college, something like that. When my Danish teacher would give me homework, like you have to write an essay or you have to write something, I said, how many pages does it have to be? And she said, it has to be sufficient. And I said, what does that even mean? And she said, that means it has to, you know, cover the topic. Talk sufficiently. And I said, how long is a sufficient piece of work? And she said, 3 pages. The rest of the class showed up with 1, maybe 1.5 page. And that was fine. I showed up with exactly 3 full pages on the dot. Because I couldn't grasp when it was enough otherwise. I feel like that's kind of the problem that we're hitting here. That, well, what does it mean to have done your homework on a duty? Because you might feel like what I'm saying is that you need to know the whole duty front to back to be allowed to queue for it. You're not. But it would be nice if when you land in the duty, most of the mechanics, especially in something like an A Realm Reborn Extreme, that has like 5 major things to keep track of most of the time, that the core things of the fight don't like appear as a surprise to you that they exist. Like, again, with Ramuh Extreme, if you've done your homework on Ramuh Extreme, you would probably know the tanks need the orbs to switch. The rest of the party also needs the orbs for Rolling Thunder. When there's a target on you, you need help with the blue circles. The blue circles spawn orbs. And there's a donut AoE afterwards. There's an ad phase. Something like that. Right? Then you're already pretty good. There's a little bit more. But that's pretty good. And you don't need to know that exactly. But it's a lot better than you going in and going, what are these? And then you just grab an orb and then, like, now there aren't enough orbs for the tanks. And then we wipe. Hey, Devil Hunter! So yeah, when I say do your homework, I'm not saying that you have to know everything front to back. I'm basically saying, if you watch a guide... A green screen mug? It's a green mug, yes. If you have watched a guide or read a guide on the boss, you're probably already better. Like, if you're queuing for an extreme in Duty Finder, then you're probably already better prepared than like 80% of the people that queue into an extreme in Duty Finder. Even if you feel like you watched the guide, but it all went in one ear and out the other. I am confident that if you watched the guide and you didn't, you know, put the guide on, put it on your second monitor, and then got super focused on something else. If you watched the guide, looked at it, even though it went in one ear or the other, and you were almost more thinking about, I need to focus on this guide, I need to focus on this guide, and you didn't hear anything, even if that's how it felt, you'll probably feel more prepared than if you had not watched it. And it's the same thing with the job guide thing, like having done your homework on that, is that if you have just had the opportunity, have given someone the opportunity to tell you, for instance, when you're supposed to click fight or flight, which I know sounds ridiculous if you know how to play Paladin, then you're not going to be just going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 for 3 minutes and then going, okay, well, now the boss is near death. Now I hit the fight or flight. And then we push it to the finish. Like, you could have used fight or flight like 4 times. And no, I'm not expecting you to do a thing like that, but I have seen players do like that. In extremes. As in, not use their cooldowns. And then when the boss is near death, then they hit everything. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. That just do a little bit of... Just double check that you got it right. Double check. Just see. You have an idea. I'm not expecting the universe. I'm just expecting that you've done your homework. Like you maybe would have in school. Tried some of the exercises. I didn't understand this, Mr. Teacher. So I hope that helps, procrastinauts. Anyway, I have to call it now because I have a mount farm in like 10 minutes and the leader of the mount farm is there poking me. So, on that note, I first of all hope that you all had a very good time with the stream and still found it interesting despite me going off on one of these tangents once again. But if you'd like to be part of the Discord community server, there's a link right there in the chat. There you'll find the weekly schedule where you can see what else is coming up in the coming days. Usually updated Sunday or Monday. You'll also find the announcement room with links to videos and streams, and I put them out. And if you grab the reminder roll in the role announcement room, you get a notification whenever I post a video stream. There's also the next run around 15 minutes before stream starts. You can catch it right when we go live. And if you'd like to support the channel even more directly, you can like over on the YouTube side. You can follow, subscribe, become a member, super chat, cheer, all of that goodness. And if you don't like any of that, there's also the Ko-Fi link Ariel has posted right there in the chat. It all helps support me in the channel directly so I can focus on doing stuff like this with all of you. So thank you so much for the support. And also, hey Sleepy Vlad, hope you're doing well as well. But that'll be it from me. So let's see if we can find someone to raid. Let us see if we can find somebody to raid. Dawn Whisper is doing Endwalker MSQ. Oh, I guess I should just say quick warning for anyone watching. It does look like it's pretty big Endwalker stuff, so this is your ejection, opportunity to jump ship if you don't want to see that. But we're gonna check in with Dawn. But on that note, good night, good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where in the world, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye bye.